Regina, sometimes people's lives seem to have just gone horribly wrong. What would you have to say to them?
In the area that my husband Chris and I live in, there are ample opportunities to see people whose lives have taken a terrible turn. People who are drug addicted, alcoholic, mental illness, um, possibly some with PTSD. There's a wide variety of people who were never meant to end up on the streets in such devastation, in such sickness, in such loneliness. And as we go about our lives, we can either turn away, and some may even be disgusted, annoyed, frustrated by their presence. But I don't think that's what Jesus would do. In his day, it was leper colonies that were to be avoided, that were saw as dirty, untouchable. There was a great deal of fear around them. And yet those were the people that Jesus stopped for. Those were the people that he loved on and that he healed. At times I have been with people who respond with disgust and contempt for the homeless or the drug addicted, seeing them as weak or lazy, somehow a dredge on society. And what I like to remind them is that is someone's little boy. That is someone's little girl. Those people, in many cases, don't come to that state in life because of choices that they've made. Some of them are coming out of terrible abuse. Some have been defiled at very early ages. And the only way they could find to cope with the depth of pain that they were feeling was to turn to drink, to turn to drugs. And so when we step back and look and see the lives of some, it might be easy to move back into our sanitary neighborhoods and our lives to avoid them. But that's not what Jesus would do. One of the great privileges and honor that God bestowed upon my husband and I was to go into a level 4 maximum security men's prison out in the middle of the desert. And at that time, I was the only woman to have been given permission to go in and minister to these men. They had a chapel that they started that they called Grace Chapel. Their Sunday services were not required. They were not mandatory. Those men came hungry to hear the word of God. And in that setting, I was always acutely aware of where I was and what the risks were. But those men showed me such respect, such kindness. They had such appreciation that my husband and I would take our time and travel that distance to come and minister to them. I knew that there were some of them there. If there would have been any sign of disrespect, I wouldn't have had to say anything. They would have handled it. Now, I want people to recognize that the enemy of this world is real. There really is an adversary. There really is a devil. And he preys on the wounded. He preys on the weak, the innocent. Because the war he wages in this world is for our soul. He not only delights in trashing a person's life and robbing them of their potential, but he is most excited when he captures that person's eternity, when he takes them to hell forever. And so, for people who may be listening that recognize at some point their life was hijacked, there was some hurt, there was some abuse, there was some neglect, there was some abandonment, there was some thought, there was some form of self-loathing that began to drive the choices in their lives. If you start to look, and you can see right where it happens. Young men, so often, it's right about the time that they're 12 years old. Somewhere right in there. It's getting younger and younger. We're seeing more that are more like 8. But that something happens. It may be a divorce. It may be seeing spousal abuse at home. It may be just the result of pressures to perform or to be perfect or to excel, to be something other than who you are. And so look at that time and see that that wasn't God's plan for you. Look at that time and ask God's mercy, God's grace to help you forgive the people that have wronged you, the circumstances that have wounded you. Ask Him to forgive you for those choices that you made when you were making decisions for your life. No matter how far you've gone, no matter how dark it has been, His mercies never end. He has not forgotten you. It is not too late. You're not just one of the statistics. You matter in this life. You are important to this world. And so, as you see people whose lives have been hijacked by the devil, as you see people who have lost all sense of who they are, of what they could be, see them through the eyes of Jesus. ask him to help you. Look at this world and look at all the people within it. With his love, his mercy, his goodness, and his grace, and ask him how you can make a difference in the life of the one that is before you at this time. Jesus never leaves us. He never forsakes us. He would leave the flock for the one. And that means you.